The movie begins with Edson reading a magazine about a rare pair of sneakers, Alchemy 24s. His mom was driving him to the Sneakerhead Festival where a lottery will be organized, and the winner gets to take the Alchemy 24s home. He was running late, so his mom drove like a pro and arrived right on time for the event. On getting in, he was greeted by a friend, Shanika, as he showed her some basketball moves. He spots his crush, Vanessa, and as he went to meet her, his sneakers failed him and he fell, but he got up in style. Vanessa was issuing tickets for the lottery, and since Edson was a volunteer at the youth club, she issued him a free ticket. They were still discussing when suddenly the atmosphere changed, as a notable figure called the Collector walked in with his dog, Mercury. Vanessa wasn't thrilled with the idea of bringing a dog to such an event, but Edson was thrilled to see him because he was known for having the rarest collections of sneakers. The Collector wanted the Alchemy 24s, so he purchased 200 tickets, reducing Edson's chances of winning to almost zero. Meanwhile, the Alchemy 24 sneakers were having a discussion on who was going to be their owner. They hope that the person that got them will actually use them and not hang them up for display. The time had finally come for the winner to be announced, and as the winning ticket was called out, it turned out to be Edson's ticket. Edson was able to beat the odds and was presented with a rare pair of sneakers. He was walking home with his mom holding his new sneakers as he thought about how it was going to change their lives from now on. Suddenly, the Collector approached him and asked for the amount he would love to sell the sneakers. Edson told him it wasn't for sale, so the Collector offered so many deals, but Edson turned them down. This made the Collector angry as he swore to get those sneakers one way or the other, but Edson's mom made it clear to him that her son wasn't selling and drove off with him. On getting home, Edson admired his new pair of sneakers, so he put them on and played with his mom, and one of the pairs got stained, which got him worried. His mom wanted them to go have some tacos, so he placed the sneakers on his shelf and left. On leaving, the sneakers began to argue. Maxine got stained but was excited that someone will finally get to use them, but Ty wasn't happy at all and wanted to leave. They heard a sound and returned to their position. Well, it turned out to be Mercury. The dog and the Collector broke into Edson's home, and by the time Edson returned, the sneakers were gone. The Collector escaped with the sneakers in his bike as Ty was happy that someone had stolen them, but Maxine wasn't happy at all and wanted to return to Edson. So, they had a bit of a scuffle, and this forces Ty out of the briefcase and hanging on a wire. The Collector arrives at his lair and spoke with the forger, stating he had brought the Alchemy 24s he asked for. The forger wanted to see it, so the Collector opened the briefcase and brought out Maxine for him to see and offered to show him Ty when they had a deal. The call was over as the Collector was in shock because he couldn't find Ty. Meanwhile, Ty was still hanging on a wire screaming as the other sneakers hanging on that same wire could hear him and went to him to know what was wrong, but he continued screaming. One of the sneakers on the floor called out to him, telling him that he wasn't tied to the wire and could come down. Promising to catch him, Ty jumped and landed badly as the sneaker tricked him. The sneaker introduced himself as JB, as Ty informed him that he was looking for his sister Maxine, who was taken by the Collector. JB offered to help by taking him to their king, but he wants one of Ty's gems in return. Ty refused, but after JB told him that rain is about to fall and about the mice lurking around, he agreed, and they were on their way. They got onto a bag and were carried to the site. Meanwhile, the Collector brought out Maxine. He noticed a dent on her, so he placed her on a washing machine, which she thought was dangerous at first, but later enjoyed the washing experience. After washing, she was placed in a rack and the door was shut. She tried escaping, but Wiz and Techie told her that the door was impregnable and she wouldn't be able to escape. Maxine saw the place as a prison, but the others didn't, as they saw the place as luxury. Maxine really wants to leave so she could help Edson for his first high school game, so the other sneakers were about to show her a way out. But she isn't going to like it. Meanwhile, the bag arrived at the basketball court and the sneakers got out of the bag. JB took Ty to their king, and they all exchanged pleasantries. After that, they decided to play a basketball game, which JB was having a hard time at first, but as Ty joined him, they stole the show and defeated the others by a mile. This made the king happy as he informed JB that he should meet the high heel, Adriana, as she might know where the Collector is. JB informed Ty that Adriana was his ex, and he didn't want to meet her looking bad, and stated that if Ty could give him more of his gems, he would consider it. Ty, desperate to save Maxine, took out more of his gems and handed it to him. So JB whistled, and some sneakers arrived in a skateboard, and they took JB and Ty for a ride. The ride was extremely rough and wasn't a pleasant experience for Ty. Meanwhile, Edson was depressed, having lost his iconic sneakers. His crush, Vanessa, chatted with him and congratulated him on winning the A24s, but they didn't know he lost it. His mom came home and tried comforting him, stating they were going to buy new sneakers, although it might not be as flashy, but Edson wasn't really interested in a new sneaker. He just wanted the A24s. The sneakers finally arrived at the wedding event where Adriana is, and they waited for the cake handler, and as he arrived, they got into the carriage and were taken to the event. The Collector happened to be watching the news at the time when one of the cameras he placed in the city spotted Ty in the carriage, so he and Mercury began making their way to the wedding event. Meanwhile, Maxine tried opening one of the vaults to get out, but she couldn't as she told the others that it was impossible, but they stated that it wasn't as the sneaker. Lucas was able to escape using that route. The only difference is that he was able to open that vault with the help of his pair. Maxine spotted one of the collector's first collection of sneakers and conversed with him. He was depressed and wouldn't leave his box. He was left there to rot and couldn't find his pair, and this scared Maxine a little. JB got to meet Adriana in the event and conversed with her as other heels clustered around Ty, and while trying to avoid them, he bumps into Brittany, who decides to take him for a dance. JB tried convincing Adriana to help Ty, and after deliberating on it for a while, she decided to help him. The collector at the time had already arrived at the event at the time and distracted the security as he sneaked Mercury in. Adriana asks Brittany for Lucas' whereabouts as she informs JB that Lucas knows the collector's lair where Ty's sister is. They were still on it when Mercury crashed the event. The heels took off running as Mercury set its eyes on Ty and JB as he chased them. They both hid as JB decided to distract the dog as Ty unleashed the wedding cake in the dog. Mercury got distracted as Ty and JB took off. JB called for his ride, but the ride was extremely rough this time, but it managed to swing them to the top of a bus, and they continued their journey. The collector got to his lair looking all distressed. As soon as the collector walked into his shoe room, all the shoes froze in place. He picked up Maxine, placed her on the shelf, and turned to leave. But Maxine acted fast. She grabbed the chance and dashed out through the open door. Outside, she spotted the collector on a call with the forger, and on the screen, she saw Ty. The forger had just realized the collector was missing a pair of shoes. Furious, he sprayed chemicals on some of the shoes. The collector begged him to stop, promising to find the missing pair. Maxine saw everything and rushed back to warn the other sneaks. She told them they were in danger and couldn't stay there any longer. So, they made a plan to escape. Meanwhile, Ty and JB were on their way to Club Zapato. JB confessed that at first, he only wanted Ty's bling. Ty, already upset, cut him off mid-sentence and walked away. Ty entered a part of the club when he suddenly bumped into the store owner. She quickly snapped a photo of him and posted it online as a missing shoe. Now alone, JB stumbled upon a damaged sneak who told him about the forger and that the forger was hunting Ty. Without wasting a second, JB jumped on the fastest bus to save him. Back at the collector's place, he called the store owner who had posted about the lost sneaker. After she left Ty, he secretly followed Brittany into Club Zapato. There, he realized all the sneaks were at the club. Adriana led Ty to Lucas. At the same time, Maxine and was found their way into the collector's tech room. Was messaged Edson, telling him his missing sneakers were there and he should come get them. Suddenly, the collector's dog spotted them and gave chase. On his mission to save Ty, JB tied his lace to a speeding vehicle to move faster. Meanwhile, Ty had already met Lucas and started asking questions about the collector. Lucas revealed where the collector lived. JB finally arrived at the club and apologized to Ty for what he said earlier. But before they could leave, the store owner and the collector showed up looking for Ty. They found him, and the collector stuffed him into his bag. As the collector and store owner talked, JB tried to rescue Ty, but got pulled into the bag too as Ty got out. The others explained everything to Ty, how JB had been a true friend, and how he was once abandoned by Isaac. Ty started to feel sorry for him. Ty and Lucas made their way to the collector's house. On the way, a rat startled Ty badly. The other sneaks showed up and assured Lucas they had his back. Together, they headed for the bridge. Ty and Brittany took a separate path toward the collector's place while the others handled the rats. But just before reaching their destination, they were surrounded by a swarm of rats. Ty helped Brittany climb up a statue. Suddenly, other sneaks appeared and helped fight the rats. Now, they were right in front of the collector's house. Brittany helped Ty sneak inside. At that moment, the collector had also returned home and spotted the forger on his system. Edson had just arrived too. The forger grabbed his bag and stormed toward the shoe rack, only to realize the shoes inside weren't the ones he wanted. He exploded in anger. The forger then exposed the collector's past and broadcasted it to everyone's phones to ruin his reputation. He began destroying the collector's sneaker collection. As he continued, the dog attacked and knocked him down. Ty and the sneaks sprayed him with chemicals and tied him up using shoelaces. Ty finally reunited with Maxine, and both were overjoyed. JB returned Ty's bling with a proud smile. Just as they were leaving, Maxine called out to a hidden sneak and invited them to come along. To everyone's surprise, it turned out to be JB's long-lost pair. Their reunion was filled with joy. Outside, Edson was about to leave when they rushed to get Ty and Maxine out. But the collector walked in and saw the forger tied up. He praised his dog for the capture and smiled as he saw his first pair of sneakers together again after so long. Later, at Edson's basketball game, he looked sad wearing his old shoes. But suddenly, the collector arrived and handed him his favorite pair back. Edson's face lit up with happiness. The crowd began chanting Isaac, the collector's real name. He was stunned but happy to be recognized again. Edson got back into the game, played better than ever, and scored goal after goal. His mom watched proudly from the stands. The next morning, Edson received a special delivery. Isaac had sent him his entire shoe collection as a gift. Stay tuned for more mind-blowing recaps on its mythical and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Thanks for watching.